Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. And in this video, we're going to install and take a small look at Oberon OS. Before I start, I'll say Oberon OS is an Arch Linux-based distribution, although they don't call themselves a distribution, but it's completely SystemD free. So if you're interested in a SystemD free Arch-based operating system, this will be the one for you. I've got Oberon OS set up in my virtual box. I give it 8 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor. I turn the video memory all the way up, and I give it a 72 gigabyte virtual hard drive. All right, get started. In our first boot screen, it says boot Oberon with persistence or run from RAM, existing OS, run a memtest hardware, information, reboot or power off. I'm going to boot into Oberon OS. And I am booting using the BIOS legacy mode. Try as I might, I followed the instructions, even a video, and could not get it to load the Grub EFI boot manager. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in with OB Live. Press enter. The password is root spelled backwards. Okay. Now, let me go back over here while that's booting up. I'll show you this. When you come to Oberon and you click on the download here, you'll have a couple options. One is called the minimal flavor. The other one's called the JWM flavor. Now, the one we're looking at is the JWM flavor. The difference between the two, the install process is completely the same. The difference is booting into this ISO, the one we're booting into, the JWM, we're going to get a desktop, a live image desktop. With this one, you boot straight into the installer. Let's see where we're at here. All right, another plus right off the bat for Oberon, it concerns itself with your internet connection. That's usually your primary concern, especially if you're installing any system on a laptop. So this is good. I like that. I'm going to exit that out though. Let's see if we can do something about the resolution right off here. This is Xrender. We're using the virtual VGA ones. That would be, go to 1440 by 900. Say enter. Exit out of Xrender. And there's Oberon OS. Now here's your start menu, and if you'll notice, this is JWM Windows Manager. You could leave this, you could install this, but we're going to install Xfce, and here's an installer on the desktop icon as well as install category in the start menu. So the first thing it's going to do is check and verify the network connection, and according to the website, it's going to update basically the installer, Oberon installer, and then update the Oberon installer themes. And we're prompted very strongly to update both of those. In fact, we're told that it may fail if we don't. Okay, update Oberon install package, yes. Yes is highlighted by default. And the themes is highlighted by default, is yes. Press enter. Okay, basically an instruction sheet tells you how to navigate using your up and down and left right arrow keys. Make a selection using your space bar where required. Use the tab key to change categories. So I'm going to press OK. First thing I'm going to do for my keyboards, I'm going to use the page down and go up by the fourth one there and say US English. Press enter. Now, number one option says path to the mounted disk for installation, and in brackets, which indicates default, is /MNT. That is correct. The next option there, change the detected installation method. It's selected BIOS by default, and that is correct. We'll leave that alone. Choose a desktop environment. Now here you could just leave it right there at minimal, or you could press enter. And we have the JWM, the minimal, open box, plasma, and Xfce4. And that's the one I'm going to press. Configure the environment is optional. Select which editor to use. Very important. I don't even know what MCEdit is at this point. So I'm going to select Nano and hit enter. And I'm going to leave the pacman.conf file alone. Let's actually look at it. on the left there, you'll see they got color uncommented, but no Pac-Man. So let's do that while we're here, might as well. And this is nano, so we're going to Control O, Enter, Control X. All right, I'm going to use the Tab key to say return, press Enter. Bootloader, SysLinux is the default selection there, but I'm going to change that to Grub. Say OK. Disk partitions. Assisted partition erases the whole disk or partition by hand and choose the partitions to use. I'm going to select number 2 there, and we'll do this manually. Parts disk, we're going to use CF disk. We have an option of F disk, parted, and CG disk. And I'm going to say, like I said, CF disk. We're going to use a DOS partition label. First thing we got to do is I allocated 12 gigs, and we're going to use that for a Linux swap. We'll slide over to type, press enter, go up 1 there, press enter. All right, so I'm going to arrow down now and say new. Let's give this 35 gigs. There we go. Now I can spell 35. Press enter, primary. Most important right here, up at the top, you'll see the bar that goes across is highlighting SDA2, which we just formed. We're going to slide over to bootable and press enter, and you'll see an asterisk come up underneath there, so you're good. I'm going to arrow down to the free space there and press enter and enter and enter. Okay, we got our 3 disks. I'm going to write it out, or our partitions, 3 partitions, write it out. Type in the word yes, hit enter, and we can quit this, and this should drop us off back into the installer. I'm going to tab to done. Say okay. Now we're going to format the partitions. Select the partition to format. I'm going to select SDA2, and that will be Xfce4, which is the default selection here. Say OK. All right, now we're going to do SDA3. Press OK. Xfce4. Okay, so SDA1, the reason why I bypassed that is my swap space, and swap does not get formatted, or it does probably, but not by manually doing it. I'm going to tab to done, say OK. Now, mount the partition. Now, here we can do something with SDA1, which is highlighted by default. It says, enter the mount point must be an absolute path. Enter swap for swap partition, all lowercase. Swap, say OK. All right. Go down to SDA2. That is going to be /MNT. Now, SDA3 will be /MNT/home. All right. Okay, so that does it for the partitioning and formatting and mounting. So we're done, and we're done. Return. Tab to return once again. Activate the mirrors. I'm going to do that. And you could pick out a country here, but by default, the first one there says worldwide, so that's what I'm going to use. And it got 2 fast mirrors there. I'm going to say OK. Advanced options, there's nothing in here I really want to mess with. You could look around if you wanted to, but I don't. So I'm ready to install. So I'm going to tab over to install, press enter. This is going to take a little while. This is going to download and install the base, and then it's going to download and install Xfce4. Some of the things it's going to install right now is it's going to use the Linux kernel and it's going to install Linux firmware, ManDB, ManPages, Yagil, P7zip, OpenBox, Crypt Setup, Pacman 6, the new one. And that's just a couple that I've written down, took notice of, but there's a bunch that comes in, mostly from a typical base install. One thing I keep noticing is this Dave1D file. It's in here as well, Oberon. So I looked it up, and here's a web page for that search. Dave1D is a new open source AV1 decoder developed by the Video LAN and FFmpeg communities and sponsored by the Alliance for Open Media. I'm going to check, but I'm pretty sure Video LAN has something to do with VLC media player. Get back to here. Let's go over to the website. Here's what that download link. I'm going to go to the back button here. If you click on the wiki, that opens up this PHP wiki, which I already had open here. And it tells you a little bit more about Oberon OS. The purpose here is not to explain in detail how to use JWM, OpenBox, S6, and so on, but to point out the particularities of how Scarnet's S6 is incorporated in Oberon, how the 66 suite of S6 tools work, as well as other Oberon software. You will find these in respective sections. Here we wrote root, login with the password, installation guide, which will open up this, and it's okay. I mean, it gets you through it. It does tell you about most of the options. The options that it don't are usually pretty clear. Oberon uses S6. Let's see if I can get SysLinux. That's not what I'm looking for. This is, I believe, Oberon is based on Arch Linux. Architecture, yeah, right here. Oberon's own 66 service management, S6 and 66, is the heart of Oberon. It is what makes it unique and special from all other Linux systems. So not only is SystemD, but they basically have their own init system incorporated here. It's made by Scarnet's S6. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, also, I want to point out that I did do a review, if you will, of Oberon OS about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. And I just really, I felt bad about that since this whole time, because I didn't really know enough to demonstrate the OS properly. And I'm not saying I'm no expert by no means now, by no means. But I know a little bit more. I'm happy with not having SystemD in my system. You will have some sort of learning curve. You'll have to find some workarounds with some other programs. However, you're not going to be as limited as you might think. And I'll bring up this right here. This is just a small list of stuff I've installed. Glances, KSysGuard, Xfce4, Whisker Menu plugin, Firefox, Arch Linux wallpaper. Sadly, Oberon doesn't have their own branded wallpapers. If you're listening, Oberon, I would like that. I'm sure everybody else would too. Hard info, benchmarking profiler, NeoFetch, and CMatrix just because, Kdenlive, Audacity, OBS Studio, Simple Screen Recorder, Krita, GIMP, Blender, Audacious with the plugins, Featherpad, DVD Styler, VLC, and GUVC View. And there is a system in place that will allow you to install, I'm not going to say all, I'm going to say, so far I've looked for imagewriter and Stacer Bin, and those work. Etcher didn't work. It installed, but it wouldn't work. So there may be some things that you're not going to be able to install. But for me, I got imagewriter going and Stacer. That's pretty nice. So you're not helpless about using the AUR just because you're SystemD free. And they have their own system here. It's called pacopts. And we'll go through that here. Actually, we'll go through it right now. Let me see. Point this out. We're installing Xfce4 right now. It's 547 meg download, but a 2.5 gigabyte total upgrade size. I'll bring up my notes here. I'll go ahead and full size this. And actually, probably should bring it over here in the middle and do it something like this. We're doing Oberon OS SystemD replacement is made by S6 init and 66 supervision suite as the init and service management we just talked about. JWM ISO installs Xfce legacy BIOS. It's 3.1 gigabyte install for the base. I use the grub instead of the syslinux. I made a note of some of the packages that I saw that were quite common in a Arch. In fact, ManDB and ManPages don't even come in by default in the Arch Linux base install any longer. That comes in automatically here, so that's great. Yagil comes in, Git, wget, those come in. Okay, getting back to pacopts here. Let me show you the synopsis first. This is pacopts, and you're not using sudo. It's dangerous to use the AUR with sudo, you know. Here's the synopsis of it. You got pacopts, and then one of these options, let's show you now. One of these options, print this help, use color, verbosity, only print error messages. That's by default there. That is the default. Also print warning messages, print tracing messages, and debugging. Okay. So you could put one of those there, and I do. I put the Z there for color. Right here, use color. And specify AUR, and then the AUR option here, lowercase ISMDU, or show information, search packages maintained by a specific person or maintainer, download the package and download the package build of the package, and it allows you to install it. Check for updates. Check if packages are check if packages are out of date. Capital U is a download, build, and install an outdated package. Lowercase b is download the package build of the package, then build it. Capital I, download, build, install a package. If dependency coming from AUR is detected, the script runs again the same scheme, download, build, install for the dependency itself. This is the most automatic one. That's the one I'm going to use. Let's see. Here is actually the command I use. To search, you would use the pacopts -z AUR, and then hyphen lowercase s, and then whatever the name was. In this case, you could look for imagewriter. Possibly I will when this gets booted up. We finish with our install. And then to install, you change that lowercase s to a I, capital I, and then the package name. Right off the bat, I looked for a couple of things, and Etcher was the first thing I looked for, and it did list it, and it claimed it installed it. Etcher would come up, and it would just be a blank white slate. So it was virtually not useful. But I did find a couple. ImageWriter, that come in, and it actually works. There's another one called ISO ImageWriter, and it comes in and actually works. Stacer, that can't come in and actually works. Those are just two that I thought, well, okay, let's see if they work, and they did. Pacopts, space -z for color, AUR where you want it to look, space -I for install and build it, all that stuff, completely automated. Download, build, and install the package. If a dependency is needed, it'll run it and install it. Here shows you where they're actually at, the config files. Like I said, you're not really limited just because you don't have SystemD. Now, there are some things that are not going to work or not going to be available. I think if you're looking for a system without SystemD, you probably already know that. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. This is, it's not too far from there being finished with the download. I notice we're not getting the benefit of the new Pac-Man yet. We don't have the parallel downloads. We do have the I Love Candy. Gnome icon themes. I'm fascinated watching the stuff that comes in. Fienza icon themes. X Archiver. Okay, so there was 579 packages. I think I might have said that. Yep, 579 packages. Dyslexia sucks, man. Package is 2.5 gigabytes after it's installed. So about 7 gigabytes total. No, it wouldn't be that much. It'd be like 5 gigabytes total. And then plus I'm going to install all this stuff here. And there's a lot more you could get. These are just things that I would think would be mandatory for me. Kdenlive, OBS journey starts with OBS Studio. Then the editing starts in Kdenlive. Any audio editing comes out of Audacity. Simple screen recorder is there. I do that a lot of times too. Just record what I've done so I don't forget it. Krita, GIMP, Blender, Audacious for music player along with the plugins, Featherpad, DVD styler of all things, VLC, GUVC view. So I mean, you get an option of a lot of stuff. Now the next screen should come up and ask us, do we want to install Grub? Or actually, the next one is root password. So you're going to do that twice. Now we're going to get to the bootloader. Do we want to install a bootloader? It highlighted by default is yes. I'm going to press enter. And since I already made that choice during the initial stuff, it's going to install Grub. Here it says, please select the boot partition. If you did not create one, choose root, and that would be SDA2. So I'm going to highlight that by arrow down one, press enter. Here we want to see no errors. Take just a second or two. Yeah, I'm basically pretty impressed with Oberon now. They've done some improvements. It's obvious. It's very obvious to me. Like I said, and I'll keep saying it, there's going to be some things you'll have to adjust, like GNOME Disk Utility is not available. GNOME System Monitor is not available. KSysGuard for the monitor is. And you do have gparted. If you needed something special about the disk that you needed GNOME disk for, gparted that handles a lot, and then you got a command line that does even more. Install finished, no errors reported. Generating Grub config. Grub, do you want to manually edit the Grub CFG? I'm going to tab to no and say no. All right, it detects that we're in a virtual box. Do we want to install the virtual guest modules? Highlighted is yes. I'm going to say enter. Or I'm going to press enter, not say I did say enter. Okay, now some of the important stuff. Host name. Press enter. Oberon OS -VM. That'll work. Press OK. English US UTF-8 is fine. The time zone or local time. I'm going to page down at least once. Twice. Yep. Arrow up to Chicago, America, Chicago, hit enter. Now define my user, press enter, and by default it's OB Live, but I'm going to put in my name, and you do have to use all lowercase. Press OK. Keyboard is set to US. That's all good. Advanced options. I don't think there was anything in here. Nope. Good. And we're ready to apply that. And it should have put the user, set our time, and now we need a password for a user. We're going to do that twice. We're almost finished. System was installed successfully. You can now reboot. Now remember, we signed in as a user, not root. We need to use sudo, and I'm going to power off and remove my ISO. Password is TOOR. Oops. OOR. Hard to say, root type tour. All right, let's get rid of that ISO. Check it. Click on the start button, and we're going to have to reset the resolution again. That's fine. There was our grub. That's a good sign. Better than Grub Rescue, which I hadn't seen in quite a while, by the way. I remember a few years ago I used to see it quite often, and it was because of me. There's our login. We bypassed it. One thing I do find peculiar, I sort of get it, is the use of this SDDM as the login manager. And I get it because KDE Plasma is already one of the options that you could install. And so rather than have two separate login managers, they just go with one. And it does work. And I'm sure you can go changing it, take it out, put LightDM, and enable that service. Clip It can save your history in a plain text file. If you copy passwords or other sensitive data and other people have access to the computer, this might be a security risk. Do you want to enable history saving? Just because it's in a VM, I'm going to say no. And right off the bat, I'm going to go up to the applications, go to display. Let's make it some bigger so I can see it too. 16 by 9 is not available. So 1440 by 900 will work. Otherwise, I could go into full screen. And there's our beautiful Xfce desktop. First thing we need to do, by the way, we are in the sudoers file, so we could say sudo pacman-syyu. Give it our password, not tour, our password. Okay, so you see multi-lib was not in here, so I'm going to go ahead and edit that real quick. Sudo nano etsy pacman.conf. This is kind of like one of my little tweaks. Under miscellaneous options, we're going to uncomment color. Insert ILOVECANDY. We're going to uncomment parallel downloads. We'll leave it at 5. Uncomment verbose package list. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom here. See multi-lib. And if you don't uncomment the category, it will not work. All right, this is nano, so Control O to write it out. Enter to confirm. Control X, get out of here. Control L should clear the screen. Sudo pacman-syyu. We got parallel downloads. We got Pacman. And we have the multi-lib stuff. Right now, we do not have the whisker menu. If this is the menu for you, you are good as gold. Internet is Midori, is the web browser by choice. If you're good with Midori, you're good as gold. But I like to get a little bit more than that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go ahead and get some programs right here, have those installed so that when we come back, those will be here. Right here, this list. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I got it all typed in there. We're going to go sudo pacman-s glances ksysguard Xfce4 whisker menu plugin Firefox Arch Linux wallpaper or Arch Linux wallpaper ArtInfo NeoFetch CMatrix, because why not, Kdenlive Audacity Audacious plugins OBS Studio Simple Screen Recorder Krita GIMP Blender Feather Pad, DVD Styler, VLC, and GUVC View. All that spelled right, and it must have been. Installation of that stuff is on the way. And it won't take as long because of the parallel downloads. I really do like that. Let's see, this was one problem I had. Let me see, 3, 8, and see it's not picking up my swap. But fortunately, we do have Gparted. And there's the swap. Let's left click on the swap, right click on it, Manage swap on. See if it'll allow me to do the flags. Manage flags. See if there's a swap flag. Huh, no. Okay, but it is on now. So now if I close this out, go back to the menu or the terminal, look at free. Now we have just picking up 11 gigs. You saw me, I allocated 12. This is not gigabytes. This is the other one. There's our swap space. That's working. None of the other programs are going to work that I downloaded until this gets through. Let's just go through the menu as we see it right now. Accessories, we got App Finder, Book Rename, Clip It, Calculator, that's a add-on, Space FM for a file browser, which is actually, I've never used it. I say never, I actually looked at it once when I was looking through Oberon, I believe. I used it a little bit, I just forgot about it. It's actually a not bad file manager or browser. Terminator for a terminal. We got Lunar File Manager, Xarchiver. That they brought that one. That is Xfce4. A default program. Development. We got Genie. Under graphics, we got Geeky. Internet. We got Midori and the Pigeon Internet Service. Multimedia. A whole list of stuff that I'm gonna get rid of. I don't know. It's got something to do with audio and the eco mixer and stuff like that. Under audio or Office, we have the PDF viewer for looking at PDFs. Other, we have a GM run, which I believe is like a run command on Windows. Forget what that's called. Might be just called a run command, but that's what that is, run a program. All right. It was under system. We've got book rename again. Gparted we just used. HTOP comes in by default. There's the Space FM again, Terminator, Lunar File Manager, UX term. So we got 4 terminals, I think. Let's see what that says. Oberon OS, VM, Oberon Linux, 64-bit, Arch Linux. All right, about Xfce. Yeah, all that's normal, I do believe. And we're through downloading, so it's installing now and checking the integrity. So just a few minutes, we'll have stuff like Firefox and GUVC view. And when this does get through, I'm going to demonstrate how to use this pacopts. I thought that was, I'm not sure they had that in there last time I looked at Oberon. But I can tell they've done some really nice stuff. They don't have any branded wallpapers by default. I was able to find a couple online, but really one of them's not even in good taste. It involves a pretty woman and honey. All right, there we go. Let me clear this out. Okay. Just over here. Actually, I'm going to do it just the opposite. I'm going to bring that over there. Just right here. Now, to use the AUR, pacopts, and let's just do a search -Z for color, AUR -S, and let's go image writer. And there it is. So that's how you search. Now that would work. Let's see, what else was it? Oh, Stacer. Let me up arrow that back and change that to Stacer. And there you go. So that's how you do your searches. Now to install, so let's install imagewriter, pacopts, -Z for color, look in the AUR, and -I to install it, and we're going to call it image writer because it happens to be called image writer. While that's building, let me look here. We got internet, we got our Firefox. Under accessories, let's see, what did I just ask for? Multimedia, we got Audacious, Audacity, DVD Styler, DUVC View, OBS Studio, Kdenlive, Pro Media Player came in before, Simple Screen Recorder, and VLC. Under Office, we didn't get anything. And let's see, HTOP, that came in a while ago. Let's see, it's showing me 12 gigs to swap. But we're only using, downloading and all the stuff I've opened and closed already, it's only using 376 megabytes of RAM. That's pretty neat. All right, so we're going to be prompted for a password, and we can finish that up. Now we should have ImageWriter up here, probably under Accessories. SUSE Studio ImageWriter. There it is. Right out of the AUR. This is version, see a version number. 2012 was the copyright. So there it is. So you got a graphical way to install images. Let's see, I'm gonna up arrow that back. We'll go out there. Let's see, I go up and look for Stacer. There was a couple options under Stacer. Might be easier just to look again. Search, there we go. Yeah, it's already on Stacer. All right, so we could go with Stacer, Stacer bin, Stacer git. I'm gonna go with the Stacer binary. Up arrow, that's the install command. Pacopts, space, -Z for color, space, AUR, space, capital I, and we're going to say STACER-BIN. Make sure that's spelled right. Stacer bin, looks right. And we do get a lot of color. Password. Well, that's two packages coming out of the AUR, so the AUR at least is available to you. And I can't say how extensive the availability is. I can tell you that I got Stacer and I got an ImageWriter just now. Let's see, what else was it? Yeah, we got items here. We got a whisker menu now. Let's see, items, add, whisker menu, right here. Say add, close. Here, the applications menu, remove it, say positive or sure. Left click on whisker menu, use the arrow up, take it to the back, or take it back to where it belongs. Password. We're fixing to have Stacer bin installed. Okay. Right click on that, change the view of that a little bit. We're not going to need the tooltips or the descriptions. Panel button, we're going to show both. And we're going to change it to Oberon OS. And let's, how fast that came. Just really nice. System users, let's use that one. There, change. All right, behavior, nothing in here I want to change. Commands, these are normally by default good. All right, there's our whisker menu. I mean, if you got AUR, you got, first of all, you got Pac-Man available to you with all of those great programs in those repositories. Oberon has you just saw, maybe you didn't. Look at the repositories: OB Core, OB Extra, OB Community, OB Service, Core, Extra, Community, and Multi-Lib. These, I think, are typical, so they've got at least 4 of their own. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got more that you could probably get, studied on it and found out where they was at. So let's look at our menu now. We got App Finder. Let's see, Featherpad. We just asked for that. SUSE Studio ImageWriter. We got that out of the AUR. Stacer. We just got that out of the AUR. Hostname Oberon. Let's see. Hard info. System profiler. System unknown. Now let's go back to that. That still says system unknown. Not recognizing it without the SystemD, I believe. So, I mean, we got all the programs that we want, and they're all working. Very nice. Even with this stuff going on, when Stacer opened, Stacer's reporting less than 700 megs. I remember thinking that before about just how fast Oberon was, or seemed to be. And now I know that a little bit more about them. I can see firsthand how it's supposed to run. See what our new wallpapers look like. Gotta look better than the stock Xfce. Simple but very effective. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you're interested, one of the reasons why I did this video is because I've been asked recently about some other Arch-based distributions that are SystemD free, and it occurred to me that Oberon OS is actually probably one of the easiest to install, and it works. And you got access to the AUR for an Arch Linux user. That's usually a big thing. And some people don't even use the AUR. They're dead set against it, and that's fine by me. I don't know. I use it. I've used it my whole Arch Linux journey. I've never had a problem that I was aware of. Wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. Try Oberon OS. It's an Arch-based distribution. It is SystemD free. Catch you on another video. Peace out. Bye.